everybody. Welcome back to another episode of your favorite show, The Get Real Show. Today we have a very interesting topic at hand. Yoli?
Our topic for today is, should a father who does not pay child support be granted access to their child?
Interesting topic. Let's get into it. On my far right, I've got your girl Yoli. On my right here, I've got your boy Edson. On my left, I've got your boy Victor. Right, guys? So you guys already know what the topic is.
Yes. We know. Yeah, but I think we need to start from the far right.
But we're starting with you.
Why are you starting with me?
Because you're the one closest to me.
Huh. Oh, all right. This topic is kind of interesting anyway. But at the end of the day, we have been battling about this same issue. You know, it's been happening. Young guys are busy dropping their kids' support, and I think it's getting to be a norm for most guys, né? But at the end of the day, it's not making sense. If you can be able to have a child, you know, and another thing is, men, we are there to support, we are there to provide, right? So there's no need of you being absent. Even if it's a little, your woman's supposed to understand. Not for you to be, you out there, you're not doing anything, but you actually want to fill in. I don't know. We're not meeting the ladies halfway when it comes to that, because they can take care of the child and also be a provider. You know, when the child needs nappies and all that, you're not there to be found, and then afterwards you come and be throwing the child up. You know, being happy with the child, being happy with the way how healthy the child is. You know, I think we actually need to improve and know that it's our duty to take care of kids if you make them, right? I think for me it's actually good. We need to sit up. We need to make sure that we can provide. Hence, you want to make a baby, even if it's a mistake, but you already gotten a duty upon yourself that you have to take care of your child and your family. You know, I think for me, that's what I have to say for now.
Okay, for me also, I think it depends on the circumstance, right? Let's say you plan to have a baby with this lady, you guys have a baby, and now things fall apart for you, like nothing is going on, you lose your job, like maybe you are even homeless now, you are staying with your mom or something. It's a circumstance that just happened as in that point in time, right? But I'd say the father shouldn't be like cut off access to the child just because he's not able to lend a hand or something, or financially help. Yeah. At least let him see the child sometimes, take the child on a walk or something. Let him like actually do something, right? Maybe watch the child or something.
Exactly. But Addison, when you say this, right? Yeah. It seems to me like you giving your own point of view, whereby I'm supporting the child and all of a sudden I lost my job. I can't be able to. Yes, the lady will feel that I've been doing this. Obviously, she wouldn't deny me from seeing the child because of my circumstances, right? Yes, but I'm talking about in the sense that this guy is not even doing the duty on set. I don't know if you get my point. It's two different ball games. If I'm not doing it at all from onset, that I lose my job, it's two different things, right? Even you as a woman, Aisha, you understand that I've been doing this, but the situation makes me not to for the moment. And that shouldn't make me to sit back because I'm not working. I still have to sit up because I know I have responsibilities. So I need to push myself to either secure another job or either do other side jobs, side businesses, because I know I have responsibilities. Okay, who will I leave it for? Do you get my point? I think your view is quite clear, but you just talking in the sense whereby you have been doing this, but now you can't anymore. Obviously, they will grant you access, but not when you're not doing anything, when you're a deadbeat.
So maybe he never wanted a child or something, because when he wanted a child, when he wants a child from the onset, right, and the child is here, this father can't say he won't support, because that's what he wanted. There are some people from the onset will tell you, no, I don't want this child. And the lady will be like, I want to keep it. Some men are heartless, right?
Yeah.
So far as he says he doesn't want it, he doesn't want it. and now it would be on the woman to what?
Okay, so sorry, I just want to step into that.
Just step into that quickly.
Should I go first? Go first.
Can I go first? Okay. I think you have the same thing I have in mind.
Let's hear it.
So with just that said, right? I think it's a different it's a complete different thing, because I mean, if a father doesn't want that child, then you won't be debating should they have access to get to the child. You know what I mean? I think we're more on the support basis. You know, is he supporting the child financially? And so if he's not supporting the child financially, then that means he cannot see the child, because obviously if he's not buying clothes for the child or nappies for the child, then I as a mother restrict that right for you to see your child. Now my take is that regardless what the situation is, I don't think there is a time where a parent should deprive another parent of their own child. Toxic or not toxic, whether you're not giving me because you don't want to give me, or whether you are not giving me because you can't give me, I think we shouldn't actually limit people's relationship with their kids based on external factors that we as adults are experiencing. I think a financial thing, it's two things between two adults, and if you don't have the moral to support your own child, I'm not going to let that affect the relationship you have with your child, because that child needs that relationship, because that child is going to grow up with an absent father, with daddy issues, and that is a bigger risk for me than just losing a few rands that I would be getting from you.
This is Aisha talking, right? Remember, you're not someone else.
Of course, it's upsetting for other parents. Yes, other women, they find that, you know, because of the anger, you know, because obviously the bitterness. It's expensive. Maintaining a child is very expensive, you know. And other circumstances, the father is out there flashing cars, getting girls, and that's where I think with some women the frustration builds in, and it's only natural. I mean, I don't blame them. It's upsetting. It is. And then at the end of the day, you want the child to be dropped by you on Saturdays, and here you are, you know, giving this child ice cream, buying this child pizzas, and that child at home doesn't have, you know, a jersey for school. You know what I mean? So your priorities are not in the right place, and that obviously frustrates a mother, you know, that is supporting that child full on, in comparison to a father that is doing nothing. But I still feel that is not the platform for you to deprive that child from seeing from that relationship. Let that child know their father for who they are and make that discernment, but don't break that relationship.
Correct.
I agree 100%. You literally took the words out of my mouth, literally. For me, whether the father's providing or not, do not come in the way. Don't be the reason why your child does not see their father. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Because eventually, I mean, the kids grow, you know, and they can see things for themselves, you know, they can see, yes, they can be.
Guys, I think when we talk about A, we should talk about B, right? Let's not make it like you guys are now advising the ladies not to be a barrier for but also we guys, we still need to sit up. Like we have a lot to fix when it comes to that. We have a lot to fix when it comes to that. Even if the child came by mistake, you still have to do the needful.
Oh yes, Edson said something earlier. He said something about, what did Edson say, that we both looked at each other?
He said that some guys are cruel, and they would, if they didn't want their child, then they won't support that child, and they don't want to have anything to do with the child.
That father, you don't grant access because you didn't want the child.
Well, he doesn't even want the access. That's the whole thing. We're debating a complete different thing. With that scenario, I think those are like, it's an unfortunate thing. I mean, it's one thing that you would never want any other child to experience in their whole life. But it's the parent that's remaining that needs to soothe and comfort that child through that, because that's traumatic. Okay. If your father or your mother doesn't want you, that's sad.
Right? Let's say this guy doesn't want the baby at initial stage. And now time goes on, years goes on. He felt like he failed himself. He wanted to make amends. Do you get my point? So you being the lady, because you have seen he doesn't want the child from onset, are you still gonna be mellowed? Like, are you still gonna be, you know, like, okay, you know, hence he came to you and said like, I'm sorry for not being there for you and the child, but now I've realized my mistakes. Like, how will you feel? Will you still be able to grant access to him Do you get my point?
I do get your point. For me personally, I feel like if you come to realize your mistake on your own, why wouldn't I grant you that access?
I think it's the same thing that we were debating. It's just standing in a relationship between two people, you know, and you are not to make that decision, right? Obviously, you would advise your child in whatever way, you know. For example, if hypothetically I would be in that situation, I think I would allow him to have the opportunity to make amends with their child, you know, have that conversation, why he was absent, what he felt, what he was going through, have that conversation with the child. But I'd obviously also, because I'm a parent, and it depends also at the age of the child. If we're talking about a minor, right, who does not have like understanding, you know, in why things happen, you obviously have to pre-code them in what is happening and what their dad is going to tell them. You know what I mean? So I would obviously want the opportunity to first have a sit-in with the child and tell the child, okay, now there's something daddy feels bad about that he wants to explain to you, and the choice is completely up to you how you feel, and you don't have to pressure to answer immediately, because just like daddy can change his mind and have a different view, you can also change your mind later on. You can choose to forgive daddy if you want, you can choose to be upset for now. You pre-coach as a parent, because you also don't know the state of the dad in what is coming from. Maybe you got an awakening now, and then soon later, a few months down the line, he changes, he just goes, you know, it just goes away again, you know, and you left with that child, you left with the trauma and the heartache, you know, and again, you have to pick up from where that first conversation you had, you know, so yeah.
That is quite interesting. But also another thing, I think I will go with what you guys said about granting the dad's access to the kids, whether they are supporting or not, because of the child growth. I think I have to completely believe in that.
I mean, it even gets worse here, because some parents that don't allow, you'll find that in these situations where parents don't allow their father to get to the child, they also just in the house randomly say negative things, like constantly, like bashing the father. That is just, it's unhealthy. It's so sad and it's so unhealthy, because that child lives with those words. You know what I mean? Oh, your father, oh, he doesn't even do this, he doesn't even do it, but he can do that and that and that out there.
The child see that for the child's.
And most ladies do that, actually.
They do.
A lot of ladies are walking around bitter, and that's just the truth.
But sometimes we should blame the ladies as well. For real, because I know someone, right, who she told me, this guy says, like, she got pregnant, and the guy says, I don't want to have a child. You understand? So from there, he just like stopped communicating with her, like, I don't want it, just get rid of it. But she kept the child. And then now, as the child is growing, she has taken the guy to court for child support.
She did.
Yeah, she took the guy to court for child support. So I'm like, he didn't want it from the beginning, so why are you now?
But I think this is another thing to argue, because it makes no sense to me, like why the lady should do that. Like, you ladies can explain, Bo.
I didn't want the child from the beginning, but now you are forcing me to pay child support for the child I didn't want from him.
So it's very tricky for me. I feel like okay, I don't condone abortions at all, but the fact that she chose to keep it, you know that he doesn't want it. Don't include him in anything. Don't include him in the child support. Deprive him from seeing the child. All of that. Like, don't include him at all. For me, that's how I personally see it. That's what I'm saying. She shouldn't have, but she chose to anyway. I don't know. I can't make sense of the whole thing.
So I want to hear from Aisha.
It's tricky, bro.
It's very tricky, because I mean, I'll debate a lot of things with that one. You know, how did we get to the point where we could have sexual intercourse without sex and protection, and we're at a point where you don't want children? I mean, what did you think was going to happen? Exactly. You know, we're having a sexual intercourse, and the results to that is having a child. You know what I mean? So obviously, if somebody is not ready to have a child, then they're not ready to be in a relationship where they can sexually have, you know, sexual intercourse, unprotected sexual intercourse. So I'll debate that in that scenario. So it would prevent us from getting to that point. But now let's say we're here, because we're talking about different kind of people. So I think in that instant, right? I think in that instant, it's unfair for the lady, like Melody said, you know, it's unfair because you've made that decision. It's also, we have to suffer the consequences of the decisions that we make, as much as it's sad to say that, but you've made that decision to keep that child. And you knowingly made the decision that he didn't want to be part of it. So taking him to court is just not, it's going against your word. It's almost like you had a manipulative vendetta to get money.
Yeah.
You know, you were after a certain thing. Because if you sincerely wanted to have that child and you understood where he was coming from of not having a child, you would also sincerely take the responsibility of raising that child alone.
That's one of the main reasons why the guys don't support the children, because they are in a relationship with you and they feel like, okay, this girl has an agenda, right? She wants to get pregnant and hook me like for my money or something.
But they
So
shouldn't
now,
play victim. The
But
problem
but
is playing
but
victim when we get to that stage, because you've already committed something that you weren't supposed to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You've already put yourself in that position. You can't have your bread buttered on both sides. You can't be having sex, unprotected sex, and be like, oh, by the way, I don't want a child. I mean, you've already put yourself in that scenario. You have to deal with the things that come along with that. I don't even sympathize with that guy. Regardless, that girl takes them to court. I mean, it's the consequences of the choices that he made as well. That's the results that he gets. You know what I mean?
both genders need to like know the things that they do. Hence,
They just need to know it's morally incorrect to do things like that.
And also, like the thing of telling someone I don't have that child. Are you mad? It's my body at the end of the day. Are you crazy?
it's a body, so why do you want child support now?
So why did you? Hey.
but I think it's both for both. I think it's
Why
for
are
both.
people having unprotected
That's the
things?
thing. That's the thing.
If you know you're not ready, don't do it.
Because at the end of the day, you're gonna argue. You're gonna fight about things that are not necessary.
Correct.
You know, but same time, we also need to know that we guys are I think is naturally is our thing to take care of it, as long as it's your child, bro. You don't need to, like, I don't know, even if you don't want it before and the lady, you're human, bro. You at least, you know, even if not 100%, at least give 50.
You have a heart. Other men don't have a heart.
So sometimes I just feel like the man and the woman, they should just put their differences aside and just take care of the child.
The child is innocent. The child doesn't even like juge. That is so true. Like just
Keep the differences aside. Yeah.
I think also this topic is quite a huge topic that people actually need to talk about, you know, because it's happening everywhere.
And I also feel like we could have even gone a bit deeper, because this topic is like a million topics in one topic. If you look at it.
It is because if you go to court, there's a lot of cases like this, you know, for someone not taking care of the child, this and that, she's not granting me access. Even there's the ladies that don't grant access in as much as you're taking care of the child, either because she hated you for something that you did previously, and now she's using that against you not to see the child. You get what I mean? So we still have a lot to learn.
Women, child support to them, they come with these unrealistic, figures, of trying to get money from the guy, you know what I mean? And
Most times the money is not even for the baby, it's for herself. Like
yeah, then they start wanting, like, especially with celebrities. I think when I hear them taking each other to court with child support, and I hear they want 5 million, I'm like, huh? How did we get there?
But when it comes to that point, Yoli, when it comes to that point, you find out like, okay, now someone can be supporting the child, but looking at the child looks hungry, looks dirty, but the guy have been supporting. So previous, like in the future, he might be like, I'm not doing this anymore. Now, here comes the fight. You know, and then not granting access for the guy to see the child. So I think we still need to tackle about the angles, because there's angles that triggers a woman not to grant access, even if the guy is supportive. So there's some things.
one word for me, bitter. I'm sorry, but that's just what it is. How, like honestly, like how someone granting access, giving child support and you not granting access. You bitter. You walking around bitter. Heal.
With alternative motives, it's no longer about the child now. Yeah.
Some ladies does that when the guy moves on with someone else, and then comes even with the lady to see the child. You know, she'll be like, "Why are you? No. You know, such things happen."
You know what? You know what else we actually? You know what else we didn't touch on, right? What about? Okay, let's leave the money aspect. What about the parent that doesn't allow the other parent to see their child because of their behavior, like in terms of the things that they expose the child to. So let's say, for example, that parent drinks or that parent goes out or is negligent, and you don't grant them access because you're trying to protect your child, you know?
I think this one
What do you say? Because we debated, we were just the other time agreeing to the fact that you grant the child access regardless. Now, what if you granting child access to something that's going to be expose the child to danger, to harmful things, to, let's say, for example, this father has a girl child and lives with 7 men. You know what I mean? And he's negligent, he drinks, he goes out, he leaves the child, this one babysits the child, and your fear as a parent is that that child could be in a position, not that saying, you're not judging and saying they might rape the child, but those are the situations that happen, and we parents, we have to think for our children, you know what I mean? We don't have to put them in ways. What if you have now a parent that exposes your child to that, and what do you do?
I'm not gonna grow. Like for me, you have to be a responsible parent. Like there's like kids see things, and you know how you're gonna know when the father is irresponsible is when the child comes back home and says certain languages, and there's some funny body language. You're gonna have the You're gonna communicate with the dad, and then like tell. If he doesn't, I shame the child. You take the child.
Really, I think I support the motion of Melody. If you think like I'm not okay, or maybe I have different people in my house, like you said, I think it's your duty to tell me, rather to come to you to see the child, other than taking the child to my place. I think from that aspect it can work, but then if I refuse to come to see the child by you, then I think it's a way, is a time you take me to court.
Or we could meet in a public spot, and then you can spend time with your kids.
Can I also say something? In the incident like that, the other parent, right, who you feel they don't have the moral, responsibility to take care of your child, right? What if they don't see that as immoral? Hypothetically, let's say the father now keeps on changing girlfriends every second week, and he finds nothing wrong to that. But obviously, you don't want to expose your child to that. You know what I mean? And that's a moral thing. I mean, we can't debate that. It's people have their own choices, to how they want to live their lives. You know what I mean? And you can't deprive a father just because they exposing the child to different ladies. You can't deprive the child of seeing the. So now, what do we do in that case?
And now he's already paying child support, and
Yes,
he'll be
he's
like,
paying child
I'm
support,
paying
he's
child
doing
support, so
everything
why
for
are
his
you
child.
not letting me see
All
your
he
child?
wants is just to take his child out to waterfront, but today he's going to take his child with Melody. Tomorrow he's taking the child with Aisha. The other day he's taking a child with whoever.
This is where
That is. So what do we do then?
because like I said, you need to tell me to come see the child.
But that's you being a bully, because he doesn't see anything wrong with that. You know what I mean? And you don't know what he says to the child about these ladies. Maybe he could have his own way of saying, this is my friend, like how fathers do. Oh, this is my other friend. Obviously, the child knows that's not a friend.
I think the court need to settle that.
This is a whole nother topic for a whole nother day, because this is a big ass topic.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. So yeah.
So what are we concluding to?
No, we still have to talk about this. It's not ending here.
What's your conclusion?
I think we need to hear
A
from
part
I
two.
think we need to hear from the viewers. Then we compare. We take it from there.
All right, guys. So you heard what we all had to say. That was a heated topic. It definitely needs a part 2, part 3, all of it. Please let us know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Do not forget to
Like, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend.
I'm your girl, Melody Farida Masamba.
And I'm your girl, Aisha.
Peace out.